How's it going, everyone? This is Don John, and I am here with the first in a new type of series for my channel, and this is for the educational world. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the ways that I use technology to gamify my classroom. And so, everything that I talk about here isn't going to be for everyone, but I just want to start with one of my favorites, and the one that I think gets kids going for my science classroom. I'm going to talk about some others later, but this is one that I use for classroom management. And so I know many of you all have heard of things like Classroom Dojo, or there's a whole bunch of different classroom management tools out there. But the one that I use has a little bit different take on things, and the one that I use is actually called Classcraft. So let me transition over here. I'm logged into my Classcraft, and this is what I use to do some uh, classroom management. And I'm going to show you a demo class that I have. So, of course, if these names are real, it is all by coincidence. But so, as you see here, each student has a different looking character. They come from three different classes: warriors, mages, and healers. And the way that they all work is they all have different abilities. Now, um, each one. Let's talk about an individual character first. First off, they have, if you can see on the screen, they have what is called HP. And with HP, that's hit points. And this is, if they do something that they weren't supposed to do, it could take some hit points from there. The beauty of this whole thing is you can set the whole thing up however you want. You are the game master. It runs however you want. I run it on my iPad or my phone or my computer. It pulls up on all of those beautifully. So HP is how many health points that they have. So if you catch them chewing gum in class and they're not supposed to be chewing gum, you can take away 5 HP. If they're late for class and you all are stressing not being late for class, you can take off 10 HP. It's up to you. I'll show you there's presets for that and stuff like that that allow you to do it just at the click of a button. This is what a student sees on their end. This is what they see. Uh, let's see, I don't need notifications here at home. But this is what they see. They see their HP, they see their AP, that's action points, we'll talk about that in a second, and their gold points, or their XP. And this is what takes them up in levels, and levels allows them to do different things and stuff like that. So this is what the student sees. So if I have Nicola here, she has two powers, one called Protect and one called First Aid, and she has some points to use. So if you see, there's a little hand up here in the corner at the top right. It says 5 and it says a hand that allows them to purchase a new power. Each power I've gone through and I have adjusted some of these to fit my classroom. This demo class has not been adjusted. But the Protect 1, it says the warrior can take up to 10 damage instead of their teammate. They receive only 80% of the damage. So let's say somebody shows up late, they're taking 10 damage. The warrior gets the option of saying, I'll take the damage for them. So the warrior then takes 8 damage instead of whoever taking 10. And so they work in teams. I'll show that in a second. But they can learn new powers like hunting. This is funny because at the beginning of the year when I introduced this to them, this is one that almost everybody that has it available to them get because they're not thinking deep into the game. They get hunting. And hunting allows them to eat in class. Of course, if you can't do that in your school, you might want to change that one and give it a new name or change it or whatever. But you can follow these arrows, and they are learning new uh, powers as they go. So Protect 2. Let's say Nicola here wanted to learn Protect 2. It takes two hands. See it flashing down there. It takes two hands in order for them to be able to learn Protect 2. And she's got 5, so she can learn Protect 2, and now she knows Protect 2. That allows her to take only 65% of the initial damage up to 20 damage. All right, so that's what's going on their end. But each class, I'm going to pop back to mind. That's Nicola. She was a warrior. Each class has different powers. So as a healer, I'm gonna show the healer's powers. They have different powers, um, and all of them like lead to something that they can use in some form of classroom assessment. Like during an exam, the healer has access to their notes. All of those are these higher level abilities that they have down at the bottom. So that's the goal. And in order to get there, they got to get levels because you get one hand for each level you get. So how do they get levels? Well, they get levels by participating in class. You ask a question on your screen. So my favorite part of this whole thing, and the kids, some of them love it, some of them hate it. I don't really allow hand raising in my class whenever I'm using Classcraft because I come over here to the class tools and they have this Wheel of Destiny. And on the Wheel of Destiny, it pops up, and I can choose a random player, or I can choose a random team, which you place them in teams. And I hit random player, and it pops up, and uh, Mr. Diane Hardrick here, he's the one who answers the question. So if he gets the question right, basically, I don't take off points for Wheel of Destiny unless they refuse to answer the question. If they refuse to answer the question, I'll take off for non-participation, and this one doesn't have it on there. You can set up a quick penalty. That would probably be being negative or slacking off in class if he refused to answer it. But if he answered it correctly, correctly answering a question in class is 60 XP. I would give that to them, and it pops up on their XP. And once they fill up the XP, they get a level and they get a hand, which allows them to learn new powers. So it's all interconnecting. Now, also within this classroom tools, there's a writer of A. This is one of their favorite things to do. I have them do a drum roll before it every time. It's a random event of the day, and it pops up. You hit see event, and it's sacrifice. And so that says the bad wolves attack you, but your teammates protect you. The player with the most HP. The player with most HP can transfer HP to their teammates, gaining 5 XP per HP. So you can transfer HP and get XP for it, and it's just cool. They're having to work together. Now, does this take class time? Yes, it does, but it also builds community within the class. It builds community within the team. It allows them to work together to try to get to the next level. This guy gives HP, which gives him XP, which gets him closer to that next level in order to get another power and move down the power list. And eventually, by about the third 9 weeks, which unfortunately this year, the third 9 weeks is the last of the 9 weeks that we had because of the COVID outbreak, they start to get to the powers that allowed them to use things in class on assessments and stuff like that. Which when you get to review, that's when you want to allow them to do that. You probably don't want them to do that um, as you're learning the concepts, but you can control this whole game. I love it. Um, I put a computer, I put a microphone up on my desk one time when I just really needed them to be quiet, and I offer them rewards or a penalty, and you turn on a timer, and it judges how loud they are, and if they get too loud for too long, hits them all automatically with a HP penalty. Um, Now, some of these tools you have to have a membership for, and I believe it's about $100 a year. Um, Last I checked, I've always done the free account, which basically allows me to use these two tools, and I think they made this one available for some time. I haven't done any of the boss battles or any of this stuff because that stuff has been behind a paywall for me, and I just haven't been able to do it. So going back to the game dashboard, over here you see who's on their team, and you can actually click on the ones who are on their team and pop them up down there in the bottom right. Um, let's see, what am I missing here? There's the ability to set up quests. I was in the middle of this when COVID-19 started. I've already archived those classes, so I can't show you any of those. But you can start a quest. I actually have a quest on here to let the kids learn a little bit about Classcraft. There's messaging on here. But one of my favorite things to do is you actually can link this. You can send a letter home and link it to their parents' email. And the parents can see, did they get HP today? Did they take, I'm sorry, did they get XP today? Did they lose health points today? Did they use action points today? But more importantly, it gives the parents the ability. As a free user, I don't have the ability to give gold pieces to the players. Um, it gives them gold when they level up, but the only other way for them to get gold is from their parents. So they can take it home and their parents can link to their account and they can set up things like chores for their gold pieces. And what gold pieces allows them to do is it basically just allows them to buy uh, new looks for their people. So if I come in here, let's say I'm going to go to the equipment and I want new pants, or let's see, I want to be a different type of mage. I want to be a Gale mage. I can buy that for 360 gold pieces, and now I'm a Gale mage. So it, and you think, well, it just changes the way they look. Well, in this world where they'll pay $5 for a skin on Minecraft, or I don't know what they pay for it on Fortnite. This idea of changing and making the player your own and individual to you is a big deal. And so they'll do what they need to do in order to do it. And sometimes I get an email from parents saying, "Hey, thanks for this Classcraft thing. I had no idea that this type of thing was out there. Little Jimmy did his dishes like we asked him to, so we gave him his gold." And I'm like, "Great! We're now working together, home and at school." Um, so everything, like I said, though, is customizable. There's a I put one year in here a random event of the day, the Riders of A, where I would sing Frozen to the class, and I did that one year. I took it out the next year, and I don't do that one anymore. And so you can do all that through class settings. You can set up your customized uh, behavior positive awards and negative behavior, I guess HP taking it away. You can change the powers for the whole class. If they run out of all of their HP, they are sent to the Book of Laments, and these are the things that can happen in the Book of the Laments, and you can change all of that. You can change the random event of the days, and there are a lot of random event of the days, and you can add and take away just as you please. And one of the coolest things that was added was kudos, and I did this a little bit before we were sent home for COVID-19, but with kudos, a student in the class could send kudos to another student in the class. The sender would get 5 XP and 5 gold pieces. If it was a legit kudos, and I always made it to where I had to approve it, they would get that. And then whoever was receiving the kudos would get 10 XP and 10 gold pieces. I don't think mine actually got gold pieces because I was a free user. But anyway, this is a way that students in the classroom could uh, encourage other students in the classroom to do the right thing. So, and like I said, and all this can change. You can change how much it takes to get a level. You can change how much HP they regenerate overnight. I'd leave that off. I always left that at 0, and I made them use their teammates in order to get HP back. And all of this stuff is customizable. It just, it's kind of crazy how much you can actually do with this in the free version. I could import settings from other classes. Uh, so my suggestion is, if you're looking for a new way to work with your classroom, Classroom Dojo may be a little young for what you're doing. Um, then give Classcraft a try. I love it in my class. I will say that if I started at the beginning of the year, I burn out on it about the time standardized testing rolls around, which is perfect. And the kids might burn out on it too. And what I tell them, because you have some that'll be like, "Well, I don't want to play this. This is the dumb game anyway." I tell them, "Okay, you don't play then." And so, but if your name comes up on the random event or the random, you still have to answer the question. You're just not getting anything for it, or we'll just go ahead and take your character out of the game, and I'll just leave you at level 1, but your character will roll in, and you won't be on a team, but you'll still have to answer questions and stuff like that. Usually they jump right on board. So this is my go-to classroom management system. I love I love it because I like the fantasy world. Uh, it's it's not super magic-y. It's and you're not slaying orcs or anything like that. It's just a fun skin basically that's laid over a classroom management system. And if you ever need to know how somebody's doing in your class and you truly keep up with it on here, you can pull it up and say, well, Sally got, Jimmy and Sally and Johnny, they get all the good and the bad press. But Sally got marked for talking during class um, 3 times this week. Maybe it's time to send an email to mom or dad or grandparents or whoever it is. So this is my go-to classroom management system. I would recommend it for anyone who just needs to try something different. It gamifies my classroom every class period. After the bell ringer, they're waiting for me to go drum roll please, and they'll drum on their tables, and then we'll do the random event of the day, and then we'll do whatever it says to do. And it might take 5 minutes out of my class, maybe 10 if it's a more in-depth one, but it's always fun and it's always new and it's always different, and it just adds a new element to the class. So sorry this one went kind of long. This is one of my favorite uh, educational tools that I use in my classroom, and I hope that you can get good use out of it too. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Facebook, or feel free to contact me on YouTube, or however is best for you to contact me, and I'll be happy to answer your questions about it. Be sure to give me a subscribe and a like to the video if you made it all the way through this long video. And I just appreciate all that you guys have done. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks.